Good morning, all of you. Have a nice day. Welcome back to our English lecture. In this video, we will study class 9, chapter 2, The Sound of Music. It has two parts. The part 1 is Evelyn Glennie, Lessons to Sound Without Having It by Div-A-E. But before we read the lesson, we go to the lesson. A small activity is there for your children. You have to just read the biography of Evelyn Glennie and collect information of her best performances. Okay, so this is a short activity for you. You have to do in your leisure time. Okay, now again, before starting the lesson, a beautiful thought is there for you all. I can't change the direction of the world, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. We can fight all powerful forces of life if we are firm, if we are determined. So have confidence on you and move forward. We will move forward to the lesson. Now, this story gives inspiration to those who are physically disabled. Now, what do you mean by physically disabled people? The people who are unable to hear, talk, or see, or they are lame, they are handicapped. So this people comes under physically disabled category. Okay. So this story gives inspiration to those who are physically disabled. A small girl of 11, Evelyn Glennie, gets her hearing capacity totally killed. But she does not give up. She struggles hard and learns music. She becomes the most sensational star in the world. She becomes a figure of inspiration not only for disabled persons but for the able ones. Okay, so it is a story of a disabled child, Evelyn Glennie. So, with her hard work, she overcomes her hearing disability and shines in the world as a best musician. Okay, now what message this story wants us to give? We will see that. The message of the story: hard work, dedication, and guidance are key to success. With the help of these qualities, even the physically challenged people can achieve their goals and become successful in their lives. Okay, so now let's discuss the title. The title itself is very interesting. Here, author says Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. Now, we all wonder, we are very much confused. How can you listen to a sound when you can't hear? So, this is something we will discover in this story. Before we proceed to the chapter, let's discuss. God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. Now, someone has commented this about Evelyn, and he says that although God took away her hearing power, her hearing capacity, she was impaired, but He gave her an extraordinary thing, and that was the sense of feeling. She can sense the feelings. She could feel very deeply, for more deeply than the normal people, and that is why she was able to express her music so beautifully. From here, we come to know the theme of the story and the message we get from the story. The story of Evelyn is a motivational story. It inspires all of us to overcome our physical disabilities and achieve our dreams and goals just like Evelyn Glennie did. Just let's start with the chapter, the first paragraph. Here, in this first paragraph, it is shown that the scene is of the train platform. It is underground and there is a huge rush of people at the platform. People are pushing each other to get away. And there's a small thin girl and she is Evelyn. Evelyn is standing at the platform waiting for the train, and just as she feels the vibration of the approaching train, she gets ready and she realizes that the train is about to come. She gets little nervous and excited. Why? Because this is a train that will take Evelyn to London. She is going to London to learn music. as she has got her admission in the Royal Academy of Music. See, this child, this girl, she got admission to learn music in the Royal London Academy of Music. Okay. Right now, Evelyn is in Scotland. Okay, so where she was standing in Scotland and she was moving to London for her music learning. Actually, Evelyn belonged to Scotland, and you know Scotland is a country in Europe. Okay. Now for Evelyn, life in Scotland is not as fast as in London. So that is why Evelyn is nervous because she is leaving Scotland for London. And she is excited also because she is doing something that she always dreamt of. She is going to Royal Academy of Music to learn music. Evelyn is 17 years of age and she is a teenager. And she is fresh from a Scottish farm. As Evelyn is from Scotland, which has more of farms and countryside, so she has not seen fast life. That is why she is very nervous. And Evelyn could not hear. This was the biggest challenge for her, moving from a rural area to fast life. And she had faced the bigger challenge earlier, that is inability to hear. So that's why she is little nervous. Okay. In the first paragraph, a new word is there, jostle. What do you mean by jostle? Jostle means to push roughly. And one more word is there, a slight girl. So slight means small and thin. Okay, now we'll move to the second paragraph. Isabel Glennie is the name of Evelyn's mother. Evelyn's mother, Isabel, speaks about an incident when Evelyn was 8 years old. She says that Evelyn was waiting for her turn to play the piano, but when her name was called out, she did not respond. She did not hear her name, and her mother realized that Evelyn did not respond to her name. That means she did not hear her name being called out. Now, as Evelyn lost her sense of hearing in phases, it was a gradual process. In the beginning, when she could hear partially, means a little, she could manage to hide this disability from her friends and teachers. When Evelyn was 11 years old, her marks started deteriorated, means it started reducing. She got little less marks in her subjects. The headmistress asked her parents to take her to the doctor. And when the doctor checked Evelyn, he found out that Evelyn has lost the sense of hearing. She can't hear any longer. The doctor then advised parents to get her hearing aids. Now, what do you mean by hearing aids? It is an equipment that is fitted into our ears and it helps a person to hear to some extent. Okay? He also suggested Evelyn should be sent to school for deaf children. When Evelyn discovered that she could not hear and that she would be sent to a school for deaf children, that she was not as good as normal children, her world became colorless. It turned black. Now what does this mean? It turned black that all of a sudden when you get such a bad news that you don't accept and in return you see blackness all around you. So this phase is known as it turned black. Third paragraph. Evelyn had determination. Although Evelyn got such a shocking news, still she was determined and she did not want to give up. As Evelyn was passionate about music, this news also did not break up. She was determined to live life like a normal people and follow her interest in music. Now, one day she noticed a girl playing xylophone and she too wanted to play it. Means xylophone. Now, on one hand, Evelyn's teacher discovered her because they knew that she could not hear, and as you know all, hearing was an important part of music. But Ron Forbes saw that Evelyn was very passionate about music, and so he decided something different. He thought that he would teach Evelyn to feel the music. Okay? He took two large drums and tuned them into different notes. So the sound produced by these drums were different. Then he told Evelyn, don't try to listen through your ears, but try to sense it. Try to feel the music. Now, upper part of Evelyn's body could feel the higher parts of the notes, and the lower part of her body could feel the lower notes of the drum. And this is how Evelyn can listen to the sound, although she cannot hear. Ron Forbes taught Evelyn to respond to different sounds. Different parts of Evelyn's body responded to different sounds, and that is how she could identify the sounds and the different vibrations. Now, the hurdle, that obstacle, that difficulty had overcome, and Evelyn's career went up high. Fourth paragraph. Once Evelyn overcome the hurdle, the difficulties, she started sensing the different sounds through the different parts of her body. She progressed in her career. She went to United Kingdom and performed with a youth orchestra. She had decided to make music her life. She gave an audition for the admission to the Royal Academy of Music, and her score was the highest in the history of academy. No other person had scored such a high score as Evelyn did. So initially Evelyn performed in a group, and as she got well in her music, got confident, with the time she started performing alone. She had achieved all the top awards by the time she had completed her 3-year course at the Royal Academy of Music. This is how she went ahead instead of coming back. Though it was very hard for her to move forward because of the disability, but she not lose her power, she not lose her courage, she went forward. Fifth paragraph. If anyone says that Evelyn has done something great, she does not acknowledge that she is very humble. Evelyn says that two important things for success are: first, you have to work hard, and second, you have to aim. She says that if you work hard and you have an aim, a target which you have to achieve, then you will definitely achieve it. So here we see that Evelyn also achieved her goal. She worked hard and she had an aim to become the topmost musician, the most famous, the most sought of musician of the world. And she did that. She gained mastery of almost 1,000 musical instruments, and she is the most popular musician of the world. She has a very busy schedule. She has programs and concerts all over the world. We will move to the sixth paragraph. Intriguing. Intriguing means curious. Now, when you watch Evelyn work or perform so effortlessly, although she cannot hear, you get very curious because Evelyn can identify the slightest, the minute sound made by the musical instruments. Now, the writer Deborah Cavley took Evelyn's interview, which lasted 2 hours, and Deborah says that Evelyn never missed a single word that she spoke. Evelyn says that those men who had long, huge, bushy beards gave her trouble. Why? Because when they speak, she could not see their lip movement as their lips are covered with the bushy beards. Evelyn says that the entire expression of the face or the speaker makes Evelyn identify or know what the person is saying. And here the lips were covered with bushy beards. So she was unable to understand the speaking, what they were talking. Writer says that Evelyn has a Scottish accent as she belongs to Scotland. She can speak clearly as she has learned the language. She also learned 2 new languages, basic Japanese and French. So one wonders how she could learn these 2 languages also despite of her deafness. We'll move to the 7th paragraph. Now here Evelyn explains that how does she identify music. It creates a sensation, a tingle, a type of little sensation in her hair. Every part of body responds to music. When she plays the xylophone, she uses stick and she can sense the vibrations of the sound produced by the xylophone passed through the sticks up into her fingertips. When Evelyn plays the drum, she leans towards the drum and she can feel the echo flowing into her body. Whenever Evelyn performs, she performs on a wooden platform and she removes her shoes so that she can feel the vibration of the musical instrument passed through the flow into her feet and her legs. That is how she can feel the sound of the musical instruments. Eighth paragraph. Now Evelyn delights her audiences. She gives a very good solo performances. In the year 1991, she was presented with the award Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award for performing solo. Now James Blade, who is master percussionist, and his works was that we read before we started reading the chapter. According to him, God took away Evelyn's hearing ability, but in return, he gave her a strong power of sensing sounds, which enabled her to become a great musician. Okay. Ninth paragraph. Here, new word is there, workaholic. Now, what do you mean by this? Person who finds it difficult to stop working. So, Evelyn is very hard working. She does not stop working. Now, to be at power, she competes with the other normal people, with those people who can hear, who are classical musicians. Evelyn works very hard. Here, one more new word come, enormous. What do you mean by that? It is big, huge. Now, Evelyn says that the reward she gets for her hard work are huge and big. Evelyn does charity also. She gives free concert in hospitals and prisons. She also takes classes for young musicians, for those children who want to learn music. Evelyn is an inspiration for all. She is an idol for all those children. Now, Anne Richlin, who belongs to Beethoven Fund for Children, what do you mean by this? It is an organization where we collect fund for some disabled children. Now she says that Evelyn is an inspiration for those children who cannot hear, and when they get to know of Evelyn's story, they feel that they can achieve everything. They can fulfill all their dreams. Last paragraph, paragraph number 10. Accomplished. Again, new word is there. It means to achieve, achieved. Okay. Now, Evelyn Cleany has achieved so much in her life that those people who are doubled of her age has also not achieved those many things, that much popularity and those many awards as Evelyn has done. Now, orchestra. What do you mean by orchestra? It is a group of people who are playing different musical instruments. Generally, the percussionist instrument like the drums, xylophones, all this. Okay. As Evelyn performs solo, she gives special performance with those musical instruments. Evelyn's story is an inspiration to those people who are physically disabled. They feel that if Evelyn can achieve her dream, even they can. And Evelyn has given a lot of pleasure to her audience by playing such a good music. So, here we come to an end of the first story. Now we will move to our assignment to the new words. Let's have a look. Conceal. What do you mean by conceal? To hide something. Next is lilt. It is a way of speaking. Then enormous. Enormous means huge, very big. Next is deteriorated. It means to become worse. Here in the story, we have gone through this word. Here, when the marks of Evelyn were reduced, that means deteriorated. Okay. Now next is leaning. It is a tendency of a particular kind. And last is determination. Firmness. When we have some determination in our life, firmness in our life, we achieve our goal. Okay. So these are the new words. You have to write it down in your notebook. Now we will move to the question answers, thinking about the test. We have to answer these questions in a few words or a couple of sentences each. We'll go to the first question. How old was Evelyn when she went to the Royal Academy of Music? Okay, what was the age of Evelyn when she attended Royal Academy of Music? Answer for this question is Evelyn was 17 years old when she went to the Royal Academy of Music in London. Got it? She was 17 years old. Second question. When was her deafness first noticed? When was it confirmed? Answer for that. Her deafness was first noticed by her mother when Evelyn was 8 years old. She was once waiting to play the piano. When her name was called, she did not move. That was when her mother realized that Evelyn had not heard anything. Her deafness was confirmed when she was 11. What was her age at that time? She was 11 years old. Her marks had deteriorated and her headmistress had urged her parents to take her to a specialist. It was then discovered that gradual nerve damage had severely impaired her hearing and she lost her hearing capacity. Okay? Exercise 2. Here we have to answer each of these questions in a short paragraph. It should be 30 to 40 words. Okay, we'll go to the first question. Who helped her to continue with her music and what did he do and say? Now answer for that. Percussionist Ron Forbes was the first person to notice Evelyn's potential, her abilities. He began by tuning two large drums to different notes. He asked Evelyn not to listen through her ears, but to try and sense the sound in some other manner. Suddenly, Evelyn realized that she could feel the higher drum from the west up and the lower drum from the west down, means from the upper side and from the lower side. Forbes repeated the exercise and Evelyn realized that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. Second question, name the various places and causes for which Evelyn performs. Answer for this question, Evelyn always delighted her audience. She had toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra. She had a very hectic international schedule. Apart from the regular concert, she gave free concerts in prisons and hospitals. She gave high priority to classes for young musicians because of which she was a shining inspiration for deaf children. So this is answer for the second question. Now we'll move to the last question, that is answer the questions in 2 or 3 paragraphs. That you have to write the answer in 100 to 150 words. Okay. So let's take the first question. How does Evelyn hear music? Answer. Evelyn heard music by sensing the notes in different parts of her body. When Ron Forbes tuned two drums and asked her to sense the sound without using her ears, she realized that she could feel the higher drum from the west up and the lower drum from the west down. And when she played the xylophone, she could sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. By leaning against the drums, she could feel the resonance flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removed her shoes so that the vibrations could pass through her bare feet. She herself said that music poured in through every part of her body. It tingled in the skin, her cheekbones, and even in her hair. And this is how she heard music. Okay. So here we come to end of this story, this lesson. We have completed the question answers of this lesson. Hope you will copy down in your class of notebook. Go through the words also and the activity also, which we just discussed in the starting of the lesson. Okay. Biography you have to read of Evelyn. Got it? And you have to collect some information about the best performances which she did. So that was the activity. We have to collect some information and write it down in notebook, or you can write on a piece of page. Okay. So we will meet in the next lecture with the second part of the same lesson, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.